Hello and welcome to Adobe Live. Happy Friday. And yeah, welcome to our Adobe Express stream this afternoon. My name is Liz, and we are going to be doing a fun infographic today in Adobe Express. And yeah, it's my last stream for the year. So I've donned my festive jumper to get in the mood. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. We've got Sean, Tim, Carol. Hello. It's so good to have you here. And yeah, I am looking forward to this last stream. Don't worry, there will be a stream next week though. And Maddie is going to be taking it over and looking after that stream for me. So that'll be really fun. But right, let's get cracking today. We are going to be doing an infographic in Adobe Express. And if you were around last week, you will have seen that I tried to cram in a little bit too many projects. So we're just going to stick with one project in this stream, and we're going to start from a template today instead of starting from scratch to save us a bit of time. And this is one of the things that I love about Adobe Express. So let's find an infographic, see if I can spell it first. I was scrolling through these earlier and there are some pretty entertaining ones. Hey, oh, lots more people in the chat. Hi, Tony. Hi, Andreas. Great to have you here. So let's just scroll down and have a look at some of these templates. So these ones are a little bit too simple for what I'm after, but there's some great examples here. Now I'm going to do a festive infographic because it's nearly Christmas, but you could use these for all sorts of different things. So it could be explaining your work process, how people, like how the process of people working with you. It could be facts about your industry. It could be sort of facts about something related to your business that you could then share in a blog post or on your Instagram stories. And it's just a really visually eye-catching and appealing way for people to consume sort of little important snippets of information. So let's just have a scroll down and have a look at a bunch of these templates. This one made me laugh earlier that there's an infographic to let you know where Wales is. So if you weren't sure, this one's got you covered with a bit of information about Wales as well. There's lots of different layouts and designs, so you can sort of pick something depending on sort of how many bits of information you want to share. So I've got some festive facts today, and actually I've got 4 of them. So I'm going to start from this one, even though it totally cracks me up that the content that is currently on there is how the ancient people shaved. So that's good facts to know. So this is going to be the sort of the layout for our infographic, and we will take out the information that's currently there. You'll see it's got an animation at the moment, so it's been you could actually do something like that for your Instagram stories, which would look really fun. And yeah, so let's start from this. If anyone's got any good Christmas facts in the chat, feel free to share them with us. I've got a few ready to put in, but if you've got any other good ones to share with us, I'd love to hear them. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this, because although I like the sort of long, thin infographic, the final destination for this infographic for me is going to be for my Instagram stories. So I'm going to head over to the resize button on the right, and I'm just going to click on Instagram story, and it is going to immediately resize it for me. Now you'll see I just need to do a little bit of playing around just to sort out some of the boxes so that it all looks neat and tidy for my Instagram stories. While I'm doing that, you can learn some interesting facts about how the ancient people shaved before we replace them with our festive facts. I'm glad to see that everyone's discussing in the chat how they shaved. Yeah, good times. Okay, so we've resized it. We've got it ready for our Instagram stories. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is update the color palette. Now, this one is, it's got some red in there, but I want to find something a bit more festive. So I'm going to search for festive. Oh, festive. Got to spell it right first. And we'll have a play around with some of these colors and see how they look. Now you can just click on the color palette and you'll see that it'll apply it. I don't actually think that one's that festive, but you can also use this shuffle button. So then that will just sort of reorder the colors basically in your design. But I'm going to try a few different ones and we'll see if we can land on something that looks, whoa, that is bright. Give me a shout in the chat if you see one that you think is particularly festive. Maybe this one. Red and green's always a bit tricky though. I think that's going to be a bit hard on people's eyes to read. So maybe we'll try for something that's a bit more just sort of like red heavy. Yeah, that's quite nice. What do you think? Does that look? I knew someone was going to mention Maddie when I put that bright color palette up. The Maddie Moss commemorative color palette. I think it definitely was. I quite like this one. Maybe I'm not sure about the purple. Let's try a few others and see. Let's type in Christmas and see what comes up. You can also just, change the colors yourself, but it's always quite helpful to start from a color palette. Oh, I actually quite like that one. What do people think of that one? We could make the text a bit darker so that it's easier to read. Still quite bright, but maybe that's good. I think we'll start with this as our base and then maybe play around with some of the text colors because obviously we want to make it as legible as possible. So we've gone neon Christmas basically with this one. So I'm gonna start adding my own content to this template. So I'm gonna update this to Festive Facts. I actually quite like this font that it's got here. Oh, that was not what I was expecting it to do. Let me just change the size over here. And we'll just get that at the top. I'm going to delete all of these sort of symbols because my infographic isn't going to be about shaving, so we don't need any of these Egyptian ones. But it was just helpful using this layout as my starting place. I'm going to delete that one as well. Still lots of chat about shaving in the chat today. Tim thinks perhaps not the green illustrations on the pink background. Yeah, I think that isn't working, and this isn't working either. So we'll definitely use some different colors just to make sure that everything works. Okay, so I am going to just drag my screen over and get my first fact, which is over here. And this one is about the song Jingle Bells. So we'll just copy and paste that into this box, and that's going to be our first fact. I'm just reading what fact was there about plucking out facial hair. Excellent. So we've got our first fact, which is apparently Jingle Bells was the first song to be played in space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this date, and that's going to become my sort of pulled out bit up here. So I'm just going to put that in there. Make this a bit bigger. Now this definitely isn't legible enough, so I am going to maybe go for a really light green, almost white there. And I think I'm going to make this darker. So maybe something almost like black down here, just so that we can read it. And I might see if there's a bold option. Let's try semi-bold and see. Yeah, okay, perfect. I think that is looking a bit better. Great. So now what I'm going to do, I liked the layout where they had the symbols in these pink boxes. So I am going to go over to shapes, and there are lots of Christmas shapes that you can use and include in your designs. I'm going to search bells and see what comes up. And you'll see we've got lots of nice festive Christmassy bells. So let's just have a look through and see which ones we fancy. I think I might go for something like that with a bow. I think or maybe these ones. I think the bow gives it a festive look, doesn't it? So I think Tim is right that the green on the pink is a little bit jarring. So again, I'm just going to go for a dark green and hopefully that will do the trick and give us enough contrast there. Or another alternative is to go for a different shade of the pink. That actually, I quite like that. So maybe we'll stick with that for now. Okay, perfect. Sean's called them bell balls, which is a good name for them because they're like baubles and bells. I like it. Good work, Sean. Okay, right. I don't know why I'm moving those around because they were in the perfect place. So that's our first fact sorted. So I'm just going to scoot back over to my post-it note and see what our second fact was. This one's about Coca-Cola. But again, if anyone's got any good facts that they want to share in the chat, feel free. So people began shaving using sharpened snells. I don't actually know what a snell is or flat rocks, but let's change that to our Coca-Cola fact. And I've just hit the wrong key. So let me just copy this again and we'll paste it in there. Okay, great. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger and I'm going to make it bold again because I think that works well. Oh no, I went for semi-bold, didn't I? Let's make it semi-bold because we want it to be consistent. And I'm also going to get this dark color, which is nice. But this is, right, let's just check what is going on here with the spacing. The line spacing is 41. So let's see what this one is. Let's change it to match that one. You might have to change the text to be a bit smaller. Okay, it's not totally the same, but we'll go with that for now. Let's just... There we go. I think that's a bit better. Hello to hey Jack in the chat. I'm not prepared for fancy text this morning, but hi Tim. Oh yeah, Tim's got some fancy text going on in the chat. Okay, so we've got our Coca-Cola fact. So the Coca-Cola company is often credited with creating the red coat modern image of Santa Claus. We know today that that isn't true. It was Thomas Nast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out his name and have that as the sort of featured bit of text here. So let me just get his name and put it in here. And we'll just make that a bit bigger. And that pink on green is definitely hurting my eyes slightly. So I'm going to go for maybe the darker, or maybe a really light green is another good option. Ah, I'm glad that you like the color palette, Jack. And Tony says that Pepsi had a blue Santa. Oh, I did not. Is that true? I didn't know that. That's a great fact. I'll have to go and look that up later. Okay, so we're going to go back into shapes and now we're going to look for Santa Claus. I always call him Father Christmas, but we'll try with Santa Claus for now. Well, let's see what we can have a look in a minute and see what comes up with Father Christmas. Carol says, does Express have all the fonts or the ones you've activated? I believe it's got all of them ready. I don't think you have to activate them. I think they're all there ready for you to use. But sometimes, like, because there's so many in there, I sometimes find it hard to find what I want. So what I like to do is go over into Adobe Fonts, search on there, and then I can go and easily find it in Express to use in my project. There's also templates in Adobe Fonts under each of the fonts. So you can find the font you like and then find a template right there. And then you can open that straight into Adobe Express and start working from that, which is a really handy feature. Some of these Father Christmases are quite funny. Oh, I like this one. Okay, perfect. Let's go for this one. So let's put that in here. And I'm going to make it a darker green just so that we can see it on that very bright pink. Great. Okay. We are getting there. Oh, Sean's got the facts. So apparently Express activates the font when you open a template with a font you don't have yet. So it does it all for you, which is super handy. So our next fact for today is about candy canes. So let's put this in. So apparently a German choir master gave candy canes to choir boys to keep them quiet in the services. And the hook was meant to symbolize a shepherd's crook for the Christmas occasion. These are all facts that I did not know before I did some research into this. So we're going to go for the dark again, and I'm just going to make this the semi-bold. I am liking how this color palette's looking though. So let's get our little pull out sort of stat. I think I'm going to go for the date again, which is 1670. I'll make this a bit bigger. And then I think what I'll do is make this pink. I'll keep it pink for this one, but make it a bit lighter so that it's easier to read. Amazing. Carol, you should totally have a play with Adobe Express. It's really fun to use. Right, so let's just make this a bit lighter. Maybe something like that will do the trick. Okay. Oh, that's funny, Sean. So Sean says that his German friends have wanted him to buy candy canes from the American shop since they can't get them there. Who would have thought? And that's where it started, and now they can't get them. Let's find some candy canes then. So we'll head back into shapes and search for candy canes. Nice. So Adobe Express has partnered with the Noun Project, if you've ever come across that. And so a lot of these symbols and shapes are from there, which is amazing because they've just got so many on offer. So let's find some candy canes we like the look of. I think these ones will do the trick. And then we'll just tweak the color slightly. Maybe I'll go for a very light pink for these ones and see how that works. Nice. Hi, Sadiq. Thanks for joining us. Right, so time for our last fact, which is Queen Victoria was the first official person to send a Christmas card, apparently. But the first commercial card came in 1843 when Sir Henry Cole produced 1,000 and sold them for 1 shilling each. So that is our final festive fact. I mean, I'm sure there's lots more out there, but I'm going for a 4 for this one. I feel like these would be good for a festive pub quiz or some sort of quiz. Maybe I'll put together a little quiz using these facts for my Christmas festivities. Also, I've made my own crackers this year, so I need like facts and things and jokes to go in my crackers, so I could also use them for that. I've made origami crackers this year that can be reused, which I'm quite excited about. Okay, so that is our final fact. And what I'm going to do is change this to 1,000 because that's how many of the first commercial Christmas cards that were printed. And then I'm just going to delete these other bits because I don't need them. And make this a bit bigger. Oh, Sean's Googling crackers. And the only thing with the reusable crackers, though, is that they don't have the snap in them. So you have to sort of just take them apart. but it means that I can like fill them each year with whatever I want, which I'm quite excited about. And I'm gonna make up the jokes, which I'm sure everyone will be thrilled with. The origami crackers are really cool. Okay, so Carol has pointed out so many assets, fonts, shapes, oh my, and there are a lot of fonts going on in this design. So first I'm going to get my shape to go here, but then I'm just going to change some of these fonts so that they look less jarring because there's so many different ones. So let's go to shapes, and I'm going to type in Queen and see if we get, I think I want some sort of crown, or maybe I'll put in Queen Victoria and see what comes up. I always like searching in here and seeing, oh, nice. Actually, yeah, that crown is perfect. I'm going to go for that. Origami, not cracker like the food. Oh, maybe you don't have them. You know, like they're like Christmas crackers that you pull, and then inside there's like a paper hat and stuff like that. Like there's usually a paper hat, a joke, and like a little present inside. Okay, Tim's got a fact for us. 169 million chocolate Santas were produced this year in Germany. That's enough to give everyone 2 Santas. Wow. So he's got a very good UK-based joke in the chat. What crisps do Holly and Phil have in their buffet? Skips. That is a very niche to the UK joke, but I like it. If you want to find out what the reference is, then you can just Google Holly and Phil skipping the queue and you'll find it. Right, so I'm going to make this one the same as this green, I think. And I'm actually going to make these green shapes, the dark green as well. Oh no, I'm going to have to do them one at a time. So I'm just going to quickly change those. I think that's going to look a little bit better. So we're nearly there. We've got 3 minutes to go. So I just need to add a few extra bits, and then we can wrap up this infographic. So I'm gonna find another shape to go there, maybe a Christmas tree. Let's have a look and see what we can find. Nice. That one, I think. I love that it saves all the colors here, so it's really easy to use them over and over again. So we'll just put that up here. And then I'm just going to change this from a less Roman-esque font, and let's see if we can find something. Maybe something a bit more. Okay, maybe something like this. So we've got our festive facts. And then the other thing that I want to do is just change this to whatever that is. So I think Ross. Oh, it is the same. Let's change it to this one. Source Sands. Just give it a minute to find them. Go for bold. Amazing. So there we are, right on time. We've got our festive infographic, which I am now going to share, save and share to my Instagram stories. Thank you so much for joining me for this Adobe live stream. Up next, we have got Paul Trani, and he is going to be doing a masterclass on features that you might have missed in 2022 in Photoshop and Illustrator. So that will be definitely worth checking out. This is my final stream, so I hope you have a really lovely holidays and you have a great break, and come back next Friday where Maddie is going to be going through another festive project with you in Adobe Express. See you all soon.